What's up?
What?
It's a good-looking group. This is a handsome group. I'm just gotta
a
say. I'm gonna
motley
throw it out
crew.
there.
Where's Ashley at, man? It's like it's all masculine energy here, man. I saw that.
Need the balance. Need the balance. She's gonna be
Yeah.
late.
Okay.
She said she may not make it, or she'll be late because she's visiting a friend in the hospital. So,
Gonna miss her. Hold on, I'm sharing. I have to wait until we go live to be able to share. Of course, that's my tech skills as well, though. That's
Yeah, no, I'm
probably
trying to
got
get
something do with it.
Instagram going, but it's not letting me.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix that, JR.
Can I share it too or no?
Absolutely.
How do I do it, man? Do I need an account or what do I got to do?
I don't know if you can share it from.
I don't know about Instagram. We can
If you
certainly
just-
share from.
just go on the Recovery Revolution page on
We'll go on my
Facebook
page.
and then
it's on-
share it, or any one of our pages. I already shared it on mine. So you
I
can
mean,
find
the recording, I can't broadcast it to my audience or anything like that?
Yeah, you can if you share it. Then it'll play the live video.
Oh, this link up here, the StreamYard link, duh.
Is
that right?
No, then they'll come straight to the studio if you do that.
Okay.
No, I'm saying go on your phone, bro, and go to the Recovery Revolution page on Facebook, and then the video should be like right at the top because it's live, and then just share that.
My phone, I can do it. My phone's I left my phone in the other room though.
You could do it from your computer too.
Okay, cool. How do I do that? Recovery Revolution page?
Open a different window and go to Facebook. Yep.
I'll go to Facebook and then Recovery Revolution. Okay.
Yes, sir. And I'm assuming JR is. You should introduce this fine man, Rob, to the audience.
All right. So to me, you guys trying to work me, man. I don't know about all that now.
Let's get to it. Get her going.
Ladies, gentlemen, esteemed guests, please welcome the man, the myth, the legend, Rob Hanley from Recovery Today magazine. I mean, great guy. I've had the pleasure of meeting him in person in LA last year. I mean, this guy he's the real deal. I mean, he loves spreading hope. That's what I love about the magazine, and I'm honored to be part of it.
Hey, man. Dude, it's so I'm honored to anytime to be able to just hang out with you, and the feeling is very, very mutual, and so how cool is it to be here today, man? So as I copy the link to drop this in a couple of things, I'm going to go over to the Recovery Today magazine page and drop that in here and say we're live, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're live and in living color.
I wonder if that will go to Instagram too if I posted it in there, because Instagram is Facebook, right?
Yeah. Hopefully it works because JR has flopped on us.
Let's see. I'll try. What's that?
Brett, did you fix that thing? Because I hope not, because I shut my Instagram down.
Oh, now it's going to change the stream ID. You got to send me the new stream ID.
Oh, no.
These guys are trying to work me, Rob. They're trying to work. They forget who signs the paychecks.
That's right. That's right.
I just need your IG login, and then I can do it all from behind the scenes, and you don't have to worry about
saying
it.
I have to hack into my own account.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, once he changes your password.
I should just make it change it to Recovery Revolution.
Then I would just make all prank posts, Brett, on his IG.
Yeah.
Just fuck it all up.
Seems like the mature thing to do.
It does.
Nobody said I was mature, man.
I'm guilty. I've done it to several coworkers in the past.
Goodness
gracious.
I got a little chimer thing here. I got
your new links.
All right, give me 1 second.
I'm going to post a different link then.
No.
Yeah,
We're trying to get JR's Instagram.
Streaming to my IG account right there.
Okay.
Yeah, Rob, you want to tell us how the Recovery Today magazine came?
Hang on. Let me try to do this 1 second if I can, and I'm going to.
tech and tell the story.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm probably the same way. Like this is a new one for me. So plus I want to tell the story good too. So one second, let me go over here to Instagram, and I mean usually Instagram's off my phone. So let me try to see if I can do a post, and let's see here. Hang on. Next.
So LC, what's going on? What's new with you, buddy?
Man, I am going through such a growth cycle, man. There's so many big things happening in my world. I'm saying goodbye to one entity that I've worked with for a long time. I'm in charge of a subcommittee that is putting together all of our recovery media for the next the last one has been 7 years ago. So I'm doing that, and I'm still trying to run my business, which is, seasonal. So the summer's about to come up, and I'm going to get really busy, and we're trying to buy a house. So there's so many things going on, man. I'm closing some doors. I'm opening new ones. It's a lot. Healing some family generational struggles, and, man, just trying to stay healthy and happy and whole through it all. It ain't always easy, but it's good when it gets done. So I can't be happier, man.
That's the power of recovery.
Amen to that, sir.
Jason Rudin, you've been kind of quiet tonight, man.
We just got on the air, man.
He's like, somebody wind him up.
Yeah, dude, and you know me. It's hard to get me to shut up. I'm learning to stretch and stretch myself out and let people. No, actually, I've been learning that since I started doing this like 5 years ago, and it's been awesome to learn how to just sit and listen and give space. But no, I'm good, dude. I went to a doctor appointment this week. I'm gonna get surgery to get my eyelids reduced because I have droopy eyelids. So for all you people out there who are always like, he's not sober, he's high. No, I have a medical condition. It's droopy eyelids. Man. And so I had to go and get these checked out based on the prompting of a few friends who were like, you need to go at least get it assessed, dude. I'm telling you. And it's crazy. Apparently what's supposed to be my field of vision is over 50% impeded.
Oh, wow.
By my eyelids. This doctor's like, when we do this thing, you're going to be like, whoa, who turned the lights on? So I'm like, no, but I'm excited because I love to read. And it's been the last couple of years, I can't read for more than 15 minutes and my eyes start going goofy on me and stuff.
Wow.
So, and then TV too, or whatever. Just my eyes are always, they get real heavy. And then it messes with my vision. So it'll be cool because they said my vision is fine. It's just that eyelid issue. So that'll be at the end of April. I might have to take a week, maybe 2 off of this, unless everybody wants to see my bruised face.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to be pretty different.
Wow.
So, yep, I'm not high.
I think that's part of your charm, man. That's your uniqueness, man. I love your face.
And
I love your face.
We're gonna need new photos for the cover art and stuff once you get that surgery done. With your eyes open. Yeah, with your eyes open.
Yeah, I have pretty eyes, you guys. You just can't see them. But yes, good one. See, he's been practicing with sound.
I'm trying to be quicker on the sound effects.
Well, I'm damn impressed.
Now we're going to the single shot view because we're now live on JR's Instagram. So,
Instagram.
So people
shout out to my IG family.
Come on, Instagram.
Yeah. So just for everyone's reference that's watching the stream anywhere else, this is what the IG people see. It's just this little part. That's why we're doing the.
That's all they need to see right there.
That's it.
That's why I switched to the solo view so that they can actually see who's talking instead of it being like off in some corner that they can't see.
I like this StreamYard, man. This is cool.
Yeah, dude, it's a super simple user interface on here.
Hey, don't make my job sound so easy.
It's
that's right.
It's not. No, I'm not saying that because trust me, I felt like I did pretty good last week though, Brett.
You did.
Like,
you did really well. I watched the replay. Stream.
But at the end, I was like, dang it, because I didn't start the outro music until the very end. And I should have started it right before I even did all of when I plugged all your guys' shows. And yeah, I even plugged Recovery Survey. I plugged Recovery Soul Food. I plugged JR's book. I went all in, baby. I was like,
oh, that's the wrong sound effect. You complimented me too soon, sir.
Hey, practice makes perfect, my friend.
So good.
Well, I'm excited to hear about Rob here, man. What's up, Rob?
What's up, guys? Well, thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah.
Anytime I get a minute to, chat about stuff or to share or be in any kind of conversation, I'm all about that. So, yeah, man. I think life is good. What can I tell you? Life is good. We published our latest issue a couple of days ago. It's always quite a task to get that all out the door. So issue number 83 is in the books, and it's we're pretty happy about it. We're really happy about it. Got a badass cover on it. Thrilled to have JR in it. We got a whole crew of regular people that are all really pretty amazing. Besides just being part of the magazine, that all contribute to it. So it's a great issue, man.
It's awesome.
Really good. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So how did you get involved with Recovery Today magazine?
Well, so I'm the editor-in-chief, and so I'd say I kind of started it, but that's really a little bit that's kind of disingenuous. So the whole story of it is Recovery Today is about almost 10 years old. We're going into our 10th year. And my background was really as an internet marketer, digital marketer. I owned a couple of direct sales companies, digital direct sales companies and things like that. And I just, made my living on the internet. And at the end of the last recession, things just weren't going so great. A lot of this stuff, there was a lot of changes and things like that. And at that time, my brother, his name's Greg Hanley, he is the owner of a place called SOBA, S-O-B-A, SOBA Recovery. And he had a place in Malibu. And then by that time, he probably had I think he was getting ready to open up another place in Texas, which he has now. And so anyhow, he asked me to build him a website. I made a badass website. I like to do copywriting. And so then I asked, I came to him with the idea, because he's spending all the money on Google and all these, pay-per-click and stuff like that. I came with the idea of doing a magazine. So that was kind of how it originally started. Was we didn't advertise any kind of rehabs or anything like that, and so my brother really kicked it off. So anytime I tell the story, I always got to give him full credit. But what happened was he actually is funny. I really didn't know that many people in the recovery community. He gave me the names of some people. I called them up, and one of them, I guess I say a shout out to my friend Sherry. She just loved it, and so we started getting people on, and really quickly, it took on a life of its own. And so a lot of what it is and what we defined it to be, because you kind of got to define it a little bit, well, what is it? So I guess to kind of credit myself a little bit, because it is a central piece of it, I thought well, how would you describe Recovery Today? What's it all about? What is it? And so it sounds like kind of a little bit of clever kind of copywriting, or maybe it's a cliche or something, but it really was born, what I'll tell you here in a second, it was very intentional. And it was I thought about it very deeply about what it was, in terms of what's the first thing that we're going to say about Recovery Today. And it's Recovery Today is a magazine of hope. And so it's not oh yeah, it's just cute. I literally was thinking I was in this deep, dark, actually a pretty dark spot, to be honest. And I realized that before you can have, anything better in your life, or now I would define it and say any kind of transformation of any kind, you got to first have hope. It's not, you got to have hope before you have discipline. You think like, so if you're thinking about the gym, you got to think like, well, shit, man, I'm never going to get a shot. I'm never going to this, that, and the other. But then you start thinking, well, maybe if I got to the gym, maybe there'd be a chance I could like drop a couple of pounds or something like that. So it always starts out with a little bit of like, and so the thing that I've had a challenge with since I was in my 20s, I'm happy to say long periods of relief is, some depression. And sometimes it was, long, and it was deep, and it was, and I almost can't think of, like, I haven't really experienced anything worse than having a bad depression. You just don't know how to get yourself out of it. And you feel hopeless. That's really what I guess I'm trying to say, not very well, is that you feel hopeless. And so that was kind of why I arrived at Recovery Today as a magazine of hope. And then all the stuff that I look to do, whether it's writing or it's communicating or anything, I just love, kind of, I don't like to put labels, but I guess I will. And I'll say ADD. I like to do things excellently as much as I can. And then I'm compelled really to tell the truth. So even kind of now, I always got to tell myself, you're oversharing. But fortunately, in the recovery community, that goes very well. So in the beginning of the magazine, the first couple of years really of the magazine, I was behind the scenes on everything. And so everybody was kind of out front. My brother was very much out front. He loves the media and stuff like that. He's extremely, great communicator. And then eventually people kind of wanted to know, they started to recognize a little bit. They're like, who's behind this? Who's behind this? And then so, not necessarily because I had any kind of desire to become recovery famous or whatever it might be, just because I felt like it would serve the magazine. So I started to reveal myself a little bit more and more, which then became therapy for me in terms of like sharing what's on my mind. And then I love things about like personal development. I love the whole idea that of second chances, and that tomorrow can be better, than today. And I abhor bullshit. I abhor authenticity. I abhor things that are inauthentic and fakeness and stuff like that. And so this kind of gave me an avenue to channel all that kind of stuff. And we just continue to do it. And so, we just continue to do it. And the whole purpose is help one person at least to take one more step, at least to being sober for at least one more day. And, all I can tell you is that we just try to do our best every single issue, every single interview. Nothing will ever be in the magazine that is not about hope in any kind of, that's like the litmus test for everything that we do. People lose their kids, they lose loved ones. This is it's a war zone that's going on there, but there always has to be some kind of uptick of hope in the end. Maybe they lost a kid to overdose, but now they're doing something kind of in an effort to try to help other parents and other people not lose somebody to overdose. And so we want to tell those stories.
Amen, brother. To me, it's key when you've been through something, that if you overcome it, then that puts you in a unique position to relate to other people that are going through it and to help them find their way out, or at least inspire them to try some new things, maybe, or get them pointed in the right direction at least. So,
yeah, you can't talk about something that you had. I think that's why, like at in the rooms and stuff, the story that's the worst story, somebody's got a really bad story, people get really excited because they know that something, there's going to be there's going to be a sunrise at the end of the story. There's going to be some kind of bright thing, or they're thinking, man, I thought my shit was bad. Like yours is really bad. That's like way worse. So the whole idea that like, you've been tried by fire, it's really, I think, the only thing that to date myself a little bit, like saying, with Nancy Reagan saying, just say no, like you don't have any experience in it, man. First of all, you can't just say no, by the way. Was that easy, but yeah, I think you have to have gone through things. People want something that you have to share the same story, man.
Well, it's like I always say, dude, the more fucked up you were out there, the more valuable you are in here. You know what I mean? You can touch more people. The more you've been through, right? Like it puts you in that unique position to help more people because you've got this wide array of things that you've had to overcome and face in your life. So now, Rob, you're a person in long-term recovery yourself, correct?
Yeah, 28 years. Yeah.
So could you tell us a little bit about that, about your
yeah, sure.
Your downward spiral on your journey?
No, never. I actually, honestly, I haven't done very many interviews because honestly, I think that my recovery story it's very atypical. And I mean, yeah, I in high school and I started drinking when I was probably like in 8th grade. I got arrested the first time when I was 14. Started smoking weed I'd say like everybody else, trying different things in high school and coke and whatnot like that. Went to college, did everything in college except for probably opiates. Never really did opiates at all, thank God. Never did meth at all, thank God. And then, I seemed pretty normal, got out, got a job, got a good job and stuff. And I like to party, but it for me, it never really was something that got like totally out of control. Well, except for a couple of times. I was actually, ironically, JR was talking about, before that we started here, he's talking about we're both big college basketball fans. And I got sent to Minneapolis in whatever the year was, 1990, I don't know, 1991, I think, or something like that. 92 is actually when it was, I remember. And the Final Four was going on there, and I was there for work, and I couldn't get tickets. So I went to the bar and got completely shit-faced. And on my drive home in my rental car, if anybody's ever been to Minneapolis, all the roads are very high. They're like 2 stories high, and they slope down, I think, so that the snow can run off. And I, fell asleep driving down the freeway, and I rolled the car, I don't know, 6 times or something like that. So I should have been dead. That was probably one of the worst things. There's a lot of other, things that I can't really remember. But for me, it was never like I went to rehab or anything like that. In fact, I was very kind of awkward about sharing my own recovery story because for me, like not drinking or doing drugs or anything like that, I don't think about that. I don't think about I'll relapse or anything like that at all. And so the way actually that I had stopped, it wasn't from some kind of planting a flag or this is it. So this is just my way. And I understand that it's probably really different than most anybody's way. So what happened with me is, first of all, I had a spiritual experience. It was like the spring of 1993. I was raised Catholic, but I accepted Christ like an altar call type of a thing. I was born again, and I started reading my Bible, and I was very into like personal development, and I was very intentional about recreating myself and having a good life, having a really good life. And so slowly I just stopped. I kind of, it's like this skin kind of shed off of me a little bit. And I never said, oh, I don't drink, or, oh, not really. I didn't say like, okay, this is it, or this is the time, or anything like that. For me, it was all kind of through, I made it nothing, actually. And drinking was a real big part of my life because it had been. You go to work, you go out, you party. It's just like so social. I was about 28 years old, and as you can imagine, it's kind of tough. But I just started thinking I had bigger dreams and visions for my life, and I just started saying I'm a guy that doesn't drink. I'm a non-drinker, and I made it a nothing. So, of course, I avoided as much as I could at first, like going to bars. Instead, I was going to church and, stuff like that. Or I was always reading books, listening to, going to seminars or any kind of thing I could do to try to improve myself. And I just was like, I'm a non-drinker. Oh no, it's okay. No, not a big deal. Yeah, I'll have a soda water. I never made anything about it. I didn't say like, oh yeah, I stopped drinking. I quit drinking. I did this and that and the other. For me, it was always kind of a redefinition of who I was. That and it was like I made it like a nothing. No, I'm just a guy that doesn't drink. I'm the designated driver. You know, nothing ever. And I felt like if I made it something, then it would be something to kind of be afraid of or to try to. I always felt like anything that I would push against, I would kind of almost embrace, I guess. So, you know, I've been sober for a long time, but in my family, and this kind of gave me, honestly, it kind of gave me imposter syndrome a little bit with the magazine, but I'm the last of eight, you know, I'm the last of 8 kids. I mean, almost everybody's recovery story that I hear is like, you know, way more, you know, gnarly than mine. Like mine's like a nothing practically, but
no, your story matters, man.
Yeah, I've come to, you know, I've come to realize that, man. So, and I think, and you know what, I shouldn't say I think, I know that I have something to say in it because I feel very strongly about, in my mind, the redefinition, and not from like a I'm gonna do it type of thing, but this whole just floaty kind of like just let it go. Like it's just a simple thing. Like I'm just a guy that doesn't drink. It's not like a big deal. I'm a non-drinker. I'd be brushing my teeth in the morning or whatever. Yeah, I'm a guy that does such and such, and I'm a such and such. And I had a bunch of other mantras about, you know, who I not wanted to be, but who I said, like, yeah, this is who I am now. I'm a good guy. I'm a good man. I'm a strong man. I'm a confident man. I'm a decent man. I'm a loving man. And I would just kind of think about, and it wasn't anything that I tried to grasp onto, but it was more something that I just kind of, I don't know. It sounds very woo woo, but that's what I.
No, it's natural. Like it becomes a natural progression when you begin to recreate the story of your life.
Yeah.
And you are now talking about who you see yourself as.
Yeah.
And it becomes like this natural thing as you start getting better within.
Yep.
These things just naturally start to go away. And I love that you're talking about the whole anything that we resist, we almost basically embrace, because I was just having that conversation with my wife today about some different things. And I think that your story is far more spectacular than you give it credit, just because of, yeah, you're right. There's a lot of the recovery stories. A lot of us, you know, went way far down to our rock bottom and it looks different. But I tell you, the hope space, the personal development space, that spiritual development space, man, that changes lives.
Dude, and I'm with you, LC, on that, because if he wasn't digging in, if he didn't develop that thirst and start to really delve into like, what can I learn about personal development? What can I learn about my spiritual growth? You know, like those things, to your point, LC, it's like, if you focus on that shit, everything else just fucking works itself out.
Right.
And it's so organic, and you're literally like shedding the skin, like you said, Rob. And it's like, oh man, what the heck? I didn't even know that I was bogged down with so much until I was able to address these issues and let it go. And like, man, so dude, bravo. And now, I mean, look at the purpose that you're walking in your life. I mean, you're doing amazing things for the recovery community at large, you know?
Yeah. You know, I haven't had an opportunity really to, to be interviewed very many times. I've interviewed a lot of really freaking amazing people, man. I can't even tell you how grateful I am, because, you know, I like to have fun and joke around and stuff like that, but I really do kind of like to talk about the weightier matters of life, man. Like I have questions since I've been a little kid. Like, why are we here? What are we supposed to do? What is the rule book, man? Like, you know, and then also, I mean, reality itself, what's real, you know, what's there's not. So I really like doing that. And now I'm kind of in this position where I get to have these deep conversations with pretty famous people sometime. And the cool and interesting thing about recovery is like the very nature of recovery, as I like to say, is, you know, you're driving down the road and maybe you either crashed or whatever it is, but you make a full-on like right turn, man, or a left turn. Like you're making a full-on turn in your life. You stop, you start to really, it provides you this place to really kind of evaluate because why you're there, right? And so, as my brother used to say, getting people off of drugs and that's the easy part. That's like a couple few days. It's really not that hard. It's really the whole getting to the underlying issues about like what led to that. And so it's interesting because everybody that I talk to, the very nature of people in recovery, they've had these introspective things, like they've taken an inventory. What am I good at? What do I like to do? What's my purpose in life? And so I love to ask people stuff like that. Like, what's your purpose, man? What do you think you're here for? Why are we here? What's this all about, man? Like, what do you think about? And it elicits some really good, cool, cool little segments. And so I just come to realize, like, yeah, man, through all like the personal development stuff, there's like a lot that I can say. And I think that depression and anxiety and substance use disorder and all, and whatever we're going to call it, I kind of feel like it's the same fucking knot of string, the same ball of string, except for it's just you're looking at it from a different side. It's still a knot. And I can talk pretty authentically in first person about somebody that's had, bad depression and stuff. And so I can write and speak about it very empathetically.
Yeah, man. And you're right. It's like, it's the rope. Those things are all so inextricably connected and intertwined. You can't deal with one without dealing with all of them and be successful and make it sustainable and meaningful, in my opinion. You know what I mean? We need to address it all, right? And it's an ongoing process. I agree.
To me, it's the difference between just being clean and sober versus recovery. Recovery is it's that path that goes within, that path that does ask those deeper questions like Rob were talking about. And it starts to become almost fun and interesting to know those selves. I know for myself, I ran from myself for so long that I was filling this void of depression and anxiety and trying to separate myself from myself. But I've had an amazing time the last almost 10 years getting to know myself at a very authentic level. And I think that recovery is the gift that, addiction and depression and anxiety and even trauma gives us, because without this, we may just go through these mundane lives trying to look for external happiness and never gain it because we never are forced to turn it all back around and look within.
Right.
I love that, man.
I'm happy you're here, Rob. I'm grateful to have this conversation tonight.
I'm actually really grateful to be here. And, like I said, I really enjoy sharing. It's if I take an inventory of the things that I enjoy, I love to learn. I tell people, if I'm on the airplane next to you, you're either going to hate me or we're going to be best friends by the time we land. And so I like to learn things. I like to connect the dots and say, oh my God, well, what about this? Or did you ever see this? Did you ever see this? So I like to learn. The whole purpose is the transference, the transference of information. Like we learn information, put our own thing on it, and then we pass it out to, oh shit, there goes my camera. But we pass it out. The whole idea is to transfer information to somebody else. I think in a really, you get down to it, it's really to be a service. We want to help. I want to help anybody I can help.
Amen.
So now you just busted yourself out, and we know that you're not actually in the office, because I thought you were sitting at the recovery today office.
You missed the pre-show when we were talking about virtual backgrounds.
He just busted himself out with the hand motion.
As I said, I got to talk really slow with my hands really slowly.
But that's how good that background is, Rob. That's how good it is.
No, yeah, dude, it was unflinching the entire time until you just
I'll
put
try
your
to go
hand
slow
up.
again.
See, this is my real room, bro.
I like that, man. Yeah.
Thank you.
Rob, we got a special surprise for you, man.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Brett, run them.
Okay.
Who do we got?
Which ones? This one? This one's?
Man,
Rock to
that's a good
Recovery,
looking thing.
dude. You're one of my favorite people, man. You know,
I'm jealous. I wanted to go to that.
Yeah, and there's the gorgeous Jen Sugarmeyer, who's, by the way, she's 6'1", 6'1".
Wow.
So, yeah, that was a good time, man. I was so happy that you could come to that. That's our last cover. That's Wes Gear of Rock to Recovery. So we've interviewed him like 3 times. This is our current cover there. Thanks for showing all this. I'm down on all this StreamYardness. This is kick ass.
It's awesome, bro.
That's my new friend, Aaron Williamson. He's a fellow vet like you are, JR. I don't know about the rest of the crew, but he's a Marine and PTSD and the whole 9 yards. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, we're built alike.
Yeah, I can tell.
I got sent his picture, you know, maybe everybody thinks that. So I got sent his picture. My media manager, Brian, introduced, said he did like a group text and he sent over like a bunch of like eye candy pictures. And the first thing immediately, man, I type back and I go, I have goosebumps. I feel like I'm looking at a selfie.
My doppelganger.
Yeah, that's my doppelganger. That's so weird. Oh my God, freak me out.
Man, this sounds so fun. Like, I can't wait to. I don't know how I have somehow missed this, but I can't wait to get into this recovery today. I saw JR's little article, and so I'm kind of new.
Dude, write me and tell me how you like it. I'm highly driven by affirmation, and so I like it. It's not like I just like people to go, oh yeah, it's great. Like, I want to know why you like it, man.
I think I might have actually emailed you once or twice, Rob.
Oh, really?
Well, I think, what has it been, JR? Like probably 2 years ago, I got, like, JR told me about it, and then I subscribed to the email list. So I, like, every time you guys release an issue, I get the emails, right? So I have the virtual copy or whatever.
Well, that's all there is, actually. There really isn't the most common question that we get is, oh, can you send me a copy? Or, you know, can I buy a copy? Or sometimes it really makes me feel bad.
That was what I emailed about.
My mother is like in prison, and they're really the only ones that actually, although actually I did find out that you can have, you know, some people have laptops and stuff in prison, but my thought is every single person now consumes their media, their newspapers and everything. Who reads a newspaper? Who reads paper, man? Like, this is digital content that you can click on and watch an interview or this StreamYard stuff, you know, whatever it would be. Click on, you're going to go to their stuff. You're reading about an author and there's their freaking book right there. And you click it and you're on Amazon, man. Like, buy it.
That's great, man. That is great. I can't wait to connect with you more, man. I want to hear more about this.
Likewise, man.
It would be cool, though, I guess, if it was in a printable form, you know, like if you printed some for maybe even just that purpose, maybe to send out to jails and institutions and prisons and stuff like that. That would be kind of dope. But
I would like that. That's the only segment that's really disenfranchised, I guess. You know, some people are like, well, we'd like to put it like, you know, like on our office in our treatment center or our therapy or doctor's office. So I was like, oh, I'm thinking, okay, what I'll do, I keep meaning to, but I forget. I'm like, I'm going to do like a full, like a 1-page ad, like a full page in the magazine. And that's going to have a QR code. And it's going to say Recovery Today magazine, the #1 addiction sobriety recovery magazine. And scan this. And then they're going to, you know, like, it's free, man. Like, plus you can look at all the other issues for, you know, you can go back and look at Sugar Ray for a couple of years ago. And it's not coffee stained or torn or, you know, it's all pristine.
True that. And most people have a smartphone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Prisoners have a smartphone.
I know, right?
No, there's not.
I don't think they're supposed to. As long as they give enough ramen packets, they can use one for 10 minutes. Like some of those jailhouse burritos.
Hey, let's hit that comment there from Cheyenne, because I'm reading this at the end. I mean, a person who may be relapsed because once we relapse, we are new. Yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not, man. The recovery is not a one and done, and you don't just do it and get it right, you keep healing. Don't do away with what you've learned or what you've been through, man. Hold all of that stuff with you. The thing here is to hold on to hope and to just keep moving forward. We learn the greatest when we fall down a little bit and get back up quicker than we did before.
Our pain is our greatest teacher, for sure.
Man.
And then, you know, let's not forget, no matter what your pathway, right? Like, we don't shoot our wounded.
That's it.
I love that, man.
And you can't discount the amount of work that they already put into their recovery and the things they learned, as LC said. You know, it's like sometimes you learn a valuable lesson from that. So,
yes.
I mean, are they new in the sense, I mean, of like, because they reset their clean date. I mean, but that don't mean they're new. They've been in here. You hear people all the time. They're like, I've been in and out of the rooms for years, and I just haven't got it yet. And it's like, that's all right, man, because you're here.
Yeah.
After you relapse, it's the hardest. It's harder to come back through the doors of any program, any kind of recovery meeting setting, because of the shame that's attached to that, you know, relapse. And that shame stems and that stigma stems from people, just treating them like they fucked up, you know, like, we don't shoot our wounded. We need to pick them up. We need to encourage them. We need to give them an ear. We need to give them a shoulder. And that's what's up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And let's talk about what Rob was even talking about earlier. I think it's valuable to change your story about yourself surrounding that as well, because a lot of times, you know, what I've gained in my recovery is that sometimes I gotta know how much work I've already done. And sometimes that means I gotta trip up sometimes, because that actually gives me the contrast to show. But the less that we make like a huge deal about it with ourselves, and we just know, man, I'm healing. I'm going through, I'm healing, I'm moving forward, and we just keep going, man, like it just becomes less of this big thing when we don't make it this huge entity. So I know that that's the current paradigm of a lot of things, but we're in the process of really changing that paradigm. Like start saying something new about yourself. Like, who do you want to be? Like, who do you see yourself as? And talk to yourself in that way, that space.
And one thing I like, so I love this whole vibe that you guys have. One thing that I like about that a lot is I heard a guy years ago at a seminar, and he said, you know, you can be a big fatty, and you're going to talk in the mirror. I'm skinny, you know, I'm fit, you know, I'm fit and I'm skinny and I'm this, that, and the other. And when you do that, though, your subconscious mind says, that's bullshit, dude. Like, you're still fucking fat. You're fat, okay? Anybody would know that you're fat. And so what he said is you add on the little phrase, I'm in the process of.
Yeah.
Because it's all about, I think a lot of it is about like believing. Like there's nothing more powerful, I think, than the power of belief.
You said it.
So your relapse just happens to be part of your story, man. But I'm in the process of you know, becoming yada yada yada, or I am, you know, blah blah blah. So,
well, dude, also I think it's to your point. It's like that, just adding that to the beginning of the phrase, it takes away the polarization of the matter. Like we tend, especially addicts and alcoholics, we tend to speak in black and whites and absolutes, right? All or nothing thinking, which is detrimental and dangerous. If we enter gray area by, you know, admitting to ourselves that this is a process, this is going to take time, that makes it a little bit easier, you know, because you're not feeling all that added pressure. Like, you know, like I fucked up once, so now I'm just off the wagon for good. No, man, no, get back on the wagon, you know, get back on the horse. Don't quit.
Yeah.
We all stumble in life, man.
I don't know how long we're going, but there's something that I want to be able to say a little bit, if I can. Is it okay if I just kind of tell a little bit of, because it's really on my heart right now, and it's a central piece of everything that comes out in recovery today. In fact, maybe somebody I wrote it. It was the first part of I call it the Rob report. It's the letter from the editor. So it's the first page of the magazine, and we put it on the web. We put it always on the website, even if you don't opt in. And this one this month says it says you have superpowers. Okay, and so I like to I like to frame things kind of in this context. And I tell people, and first of all, everything that I ever say is 100% like authentic from my heart. So I remember a few months ago, I wrote something and I said, people in recovery are the most wonderful people I've ever met, because it's true. At least the ones I have met. Especially if you're in a longer term recovery, in my experience, you're less likely to be a dick, and and you're less likely to be manipulative. But I think it comes from this spot of having this deep introspective area of and doing the work, I guess I should say. Like if you're praying and you're meditating and you're kind of working a program and stuff like that, like obviously you're going to be, more progressed along. But I try to frame everything about the addicts and the addict mind, that you have these innate superpowers within you, that it's my belief that the addiction manifested through some kind of you don't feel right with yourself because you have this ability that you were born with, or perhaps was birthed from trauma that you endured. Okay, you had a really some shitty ass things really happened to you, but it birthed this part of you, and then it has all this. It's like a battery, man. It has all of this potential to do great things, but you don't know how. You have no idea how to get there, or maybe you just got to numb out the pain. And so the whole idea of you're sober and then now what, it really fits very directly, because when people get sober, like I look at my friend JR, for example. I don't know you or your guy's story. I would like to know it, but I don't know it. But I know JR's story, and not to tell on him, but he shared stuff with me. I don't know what he's shared here, but this is the typical bad shit that happens. and then now I look at him and he's like living down in paradise. He's a good man. He's a really good person, man. And he's done amazing things and channeled it in recovery. The people that he works with like him. He's an asset to the business that he's with. His friends would say, yes, he's trustworthy. All of these kinds of things. And so my thought all the time is that people that are in recovery, they have this great potential. They become ridiculously fit, like the guy on our cover, Aaron, or they become yoga masters, or they kick ass in entrepreneurialism, or they go deep into some kind of spiritual endeavor, or something like that. And so my thought is that if you're going to have an addictive nature, because I kind of think that it's always going to be there, this restlessness within you is always going to be there. And like for me, like I want to be a great dad. I want to be a great husband. I want to be a great this. I don't want to just be, just be. I got to be something, as good as I can be, right? And so once that's channeled into something that's esteemable, then there's amazing things that you can do. And so this is the way that I want to reframe the recovery community: is you're not broken. You are not you're not defective in some kind of way. Excuse my F-bombs, but you're not defective. You don't need to be fixed. Okay. You just need to take some breaths and kind of get healthy. And then you need to find some kind of a direction. And it doesn't have to be the direction. It can be any direction that's in an esteemable type of a thing. And then everything is going to work out. And you will see, I really believe that people that are in recovery have the potential and the ability to go much, much, much further than those that have never battled with this at all. And probably because you understand the whole mania of the highs and the lows and all the kind of stuff like that. You can outwork, you can out communicate, you can if you needed to get drugs, man, you found a way. You're a survivor. And this is the persona the characteristics that I really intentionally want to shape the magazine to be. And that's kind of how all the articles are. It's what comes out of my thoughts when I write things. It's always kind of from that perspective.
Hell yeah, man. I love that.
We definitely share that in common, man, because I think that's the greatest thing, you know. Every day when you broke up, busted, disgusted, with no way you found what you needed. So it is about changing what you need. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, you made me think of something too. Like it's like when I was an addict, when I was a drug dealer, I used to, you know, sometimes have these moments where I would wish for a different life, but I would always end up coming to the ultimate conclusion that I don't have any skills, right? But I would challenge anyone that's out there and they're still in their active addiction, you know, like your skills that you have learned, and believe me, you got skills. If you're hustling to keep that monkey satisfied on your back, or to whatever, those skills are transferable into the real world. And it's crazy how much more effective they are in the real world, actually.
And you can feel good about it too. You don't have to think about the skills of stealing your grandmother's wedding ring. You know, like you can actually feel good about it.
Right.
You know,
but that level of dedication, right? Like that we had, I mean, it was survival mode. We didn't have a fucking choice. We're just doing to do so we can do what we need to do. And dude, you got that kind of grind in you where it's 24/7. You can take that addictive energy and channel it into positive things, and just you don't even have to like invest anywhere near the same amount of time that you did into your addiction, and you can really excel because the cream rises to the top. And when you got that kind of work ethic, dude, you know, a lot of people nowadays, they just kind of do the bare minimum, you know, whatever they can get away with.
That's
sadly
true.
Yeah, so it's like it doesn't take a whole lot of effort, in my opinion, to really excel in the real world. It's crazy. So,
well, it's my belief that the recovery community is positioned to change the world, to help bring about this new shift that's beginning to happen in the world, the greater consciousness, the collective consciousness. This world needs us, every one of us, in every stage of this healing transference and of energy. The world.
Can I ask you what that is? But I don't want that to go away to vapor. I know that, but can I ask you? Tell me a little bit about what that collective consciousness is, and this. I don't know, what is that? What does that look like to you?
To me, right now we're in a huge shift. I think COVID was a big beginning of it, because people were almost forced to be with themselves and look at what we have. Almost what we have become in that pursuit of external happiness. We've been in an age of time for my lifetime and most of our lifetime sitting here, where it has been very Piscean. It's been a very masculine energy. It's get things done, get. And I think that we've all come to this place where depression has become a big thing. Like I'm from the generation where we didn't talk about that stuff, where addiction and stuff was a moral failing. It was not wasn't a spiritual issue. It was a moral failing. There was a lot of shame that happened around me. I'm also a transgender man. That was a big thing, growing up in my time. So in this age where we're becoming more authentic to who we truly are as divine expressions of God in human form, we are beginning to embrace that, I feel. And that to me is what recovery is all about. And I feel like that what's happening in the world of recovery right now is really what the consciousness of the world is longing for, is, how do we learn to be? How do we learn to be connected? Because if we look at right now, the climate is fear division. And yet here we are in this community saying, no, everybody's welcome. How you believe, what works for you, you're welcome here. This is a space where you're welcome. Now we still have our issues, of course, but for the most part, we're showing the world how to do it.
I think if I could reduce that to one word and say unity,
yeah, that's it.
Unity.
That's it.
But
I think
hi, Ashley. Hi,
Ashley.
Hey, I think that you're right, but I think that it's a choice that the recovery community is going to have to make.
Yeah.
Just like the rest of the world is going to have to make it. Like, are we as a community ready to really accept all pathways? Are we really ready to accept all people? Are we ready to accept that, people find recovery in all different kinds of ways? Some hit rock bottom, some don't hit rock bottom, some use mats, some don't. Clean is, being not clean is when you don't take a shower. That doesn't have anything to do with all this stuff that we say and we do. It promotes biases and stigmas. And as a community, we have to either decide to accept people as they are and meet them where they're at and help promote recovery, or we will get left behind as a community. So I think we're really at that place, just like there's a lot of groups.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ashley, wholeheartedly, because that's what I think that we are in as a representation of the consciousness of the entire human race right now. Is we have a choice to make. Are we going to truly realize that we're better together as a collective, or continue with the stigmas? And I think that's why, Ashley, the work that you do is really, really important, not only just where you are in Florida, but I think the larger that voice gets out and reminds all of us, because I'm old, and I still find myself using words and terms because they're easy for people to understand, but they are continuing an unconscious bias. And just in this past month, I have been shown how much unconscious bias still lives within not only the recovery community, but the general population. And that's why I think what we're all doing is really important. But Ashley's very right. I mean, we got to decide.
And the language is huge too. I know I'm guilty, as anyone in some areas with that, but I think too that we should give ourselves credit where credit's due, because we are trying, we are learning, we are growing, we are evolving. A lot of people, unfortunately, will not, ever accept, everyone for where they're at and all that. So, it's always going to be an uphill climb, man. But I think that the beautiful thing is, like, when we can, even just right here, this group of people, and continue to grow our own personal networks. I mean, that I'm blessed, beyond blessed with that, and the connections I've sown in this journey up to this point. You guys are definitely a big part of that for me. So, I'm grateful for that, man, that at least I have people like AG who are constantly reminding me of those things, right? Or pushing me in the right direction, or calling me on my shit when I say some stigmatizing language, you know what I mean? Or whatever. It's a process, man. And it's great to have good people around you supporting you through it.
Yeah, and it's not going to be quick. It's not going to be quick in the collective as a whole. Like it has taken us so much time to get here. The hope comes in that like we've done the roller coaster thing, and like the hope comes in that we're getting towards the top, and we're going to, begin the ride to change. And so, so many of us are just so important. And to say something truly to my brother Larry Brown, who's out in the world, Larry is a sheriff in a very rural North Carolina a space, and and to have people out in the world that can see through the things that we do, see into the humanity, the human parts of the people that, you know, he's out touching every single day. It takes all of us, not even, you know, just, I mean, this is the way we touch people. This is the way it changes. And again, each one teaches one. And love you, Larry. Be safe. And I just think it's so special. It creates so much hope for me. Like, and Rob said it early, is that, you know, a spark of hope is all that's needed to begin a life change, like to really evolve your life. And but it's not doable without it. It's not doable without at least a spark, you know?
Amen, brother.
Love it. Woo.
I agree. And I mean, I think, you know, especially when you're new in recovery, that's really important to have hope and to see that, you know, you can do anything. But I also think this is a movement. Like the recovery movement it didn't just happen. Like people, like, so a lot of people think you just show up to something and it just happens. People have been planning and working since before all of us were born and making it to this point. And so as people like that have found our way and that have, you know, built that resiliency and found a different way, we in a way owe it to the people that fought for us to get here, that we have this opportunity to help continue the movement and to, you know, not just watch it, you know, fall apart and not work together and strategically plan to advance the movement, you know, like, so it takes everyone working together.
Yeah. It's our responsibility, you know?
Yes.
It's people, the things that people did for me to help me to get to a place where I felt like I was standing on solid ground, you know, that's my responsibility now to do that for others. I have to, because I can't keep it unless I help people find it. You know, I can't keep it without giving it away, you know, and I don't take that lightly. I don't take that responsibility for granted. And I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to even try to carry it out, you know, the chance, I always say, to live two separate lives in one lifetime. It's something that I will be forever eternally grateful for, to the Lord, to the community, to all these different pathways, because I've drawn from a many well for my own recovery, you know, lots of different wells, not just one path. So yeah.
Love that.
So Rob, what's gonna be anything big coming up in the future with Recovery Today?
Yeah, everything is big with Recovery Today.
Go big or go home.
Yeah, we've got, I'm trying to think of some of the covers that we have that are kind of in the works. We've got a former pro tennis player is in there. I've got a pro skateboarder. There's a lot of really good stuff that's coming down the pipe. But mostly I think what I'm excited about is what's happened really over the last couple of years is we have a really, really good core stable group of people that contribute every month that are actually part of the magazine month in and month out. So actually I give him a little shout out. There's JR who, you know, I met JR, I interviewed him, just loved the guy. And then, you know, after that we became friends. And then it was like, dude, like, I think what happened is like, you got to have like birthday shout outs, man. And so he did that. So that's what happens. And he's got like an area where he writes his thoughts and stuff as a vet and everything. And then we've got a book club with my friend Andrea Seidel, who is a speed reader and does videos, synopsis on all these kick-ass psychology or personal development type books. And then she does mind maps and stuff. It's really unreal what she does. My friend Donna Spear, who's used to be a supermodel and an actress and stuff. She interviews all these nonprofits. She's got a section that's called Boots on the Ground. We've got a cordon bleu chef that's in recovery like 30 years that we've got a section. We have these ongoing features or sections. That's kind of why I say sections. And that's called Clean Cuisine. We brought back a section this month with a cool guy that I met on Instagram. His name's Jack Wiltshire, and he fit right into a section that we had called the Sobriety Fitness Connection. We've got all kinds of different cool things. So these are all people. My friend Michael Blanchard, who I call the Ansel Adams of recovery. Guy's a freaking amazing photographer. And his story was a left-hand turn. He was a chief operating officer of a healthcare company, had a drug addiction, man, and lost it all. Somebody said, photography helps with depression. And so he started taking photography, started taking pictures, and they're fucking damn good. He's got a studio. He writes all this cool stuff. My friend Fuzaro is like a cartoonist. And we got a poet friend, Jason, that's been got all these people that contribute every single month. And so I never know all the really good, who's going to be next and who's going to come. But every issue is better than the last issue. Every single.
Well, and it sounds like really you try to have a really holistic approach, like try to throw something in there for everybody.
We cover everything, man.
Yeah.
We have some of the sections are always every month. Some of the sections are for a time. One of the ones I like was I called it 5-0. So it was all about addiction, like recovery from the law enforcement perspective. So it was either cops, or one of my friends was an undercover cop that became a heroin addict. Or one guy was a district attorney for New York for the opiate task force. So there's all these different perspectives. Yeah. So there's fitness and there's eating. And then we had another one for a while. It was called the financial detox. It was all about making money and budgeting and
that's awesome.
Money. So yeah, some cool stuff, man.
Well, yeah, it's like so key too to like address all those different areas of one's life. Cause I don't know about you guys, but when I was all fucked up, I was definitely making horrible decisions with my health, with my diet, with my freaking bank account, if I could even keep a job to keep making money even. But yeah, horrible with all of that. So like I needed to learn all this stuff, all this different kind of stuff.
I needed training wheels, man. I had been in that had been my whole life since I was 11 and 18 and 19 years old. So yeah, I mean, without all of that, I just could not be where I am today, and I still have far to go. I didn't expect to be alive this long, so I've made no retirement plans or anything. So that's awesome, Rob, man. I'm so grateful to get to have like firsthand knowledge of Recovery Today magazine, and I really am even more psyched to really get into it, man, and just to really give it some energy. I'm really grateful for all of y'all tonight. I almost let some things in my mind, not let me get on here today, but something in my spirit told me that
why
this is where I needed to be. And I'm so grateful I did. I really am.
Tell me why, bro. What was going on?
Oh no, it's just been a lot of heavy stuff. Like the growth, like I'm just in a real time of growth right now, like a stretching time. And it starts to get exhausting in your energy. And I've just been working really hard. And so going through that, I was just like really, really tired. But I said, I got to get with my family tonight, because this is where I just inherently need to be. Like, I need this rejuvenation. I need this spirit. This right here is what makes me excited and happy. And when I do my inventory, like, this is what really makes me feel fulfilled. And so I told my wife, I said, I'm going to do this tonight. I got to.
Well, that's good, because that's why I asked you. I just wanted to make sure that you weren't having any kinds of insecure thoughts or feelings or anything about us as a collective and this group of people and your place in this, because bro, you were an amazing and valuable addition to the team. We love you, dude. We love you.
Man, it's an honor for me to
We
be
want
here.
you here. So
I love you guys so much. I'm so grateful to call you all friends. And you said something earlier, Jason,
amen.
that the connections we make in this space are so valuable. And I just feel so blessed. I hate to use the word lucky, because it kind of makes it seem like you have nothing to do with it. But
Right.
man, I'm really blessed to know the caliber of people that I know, man. Especially
Amen.
in y'all.
Same.
Rob, you're definitely an addition to that at this point too, man.
Hey, thank you very much.
Awesome.
The feeling is very, very mutual. Like I said, I people in recovery are the greatest people I've ever met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I know. I remember my first time getting invited to do a podcast. I was like, my insides said, "Nah, dude. Like, you ain't got nothing to offer the world. Like, nobody wants to hear that. And you're a goddamn hot mess." And but my program, and my sponsor and stuff told me I had to say yes if it could possibly help somebody else or help me. And I've just continued to do that and say yes and show up despite the feelings. Feelings ain't facts. Amen. Just because you feel like you don't belong here doesn't mean shit, because you do. You know what I mean? So sorry, Ashley.
No, you're fine. I want to apologize for the way I came off earlier about when I said, we have a decision and stuff like that. I think we all show up imperfectly all the time. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I always try to be perfect. We all do. But I think that when we're able to admit we're not going to always do it perfectly and we're going to make mistakes, that's what I'm talking about. That's it. We're going to always, being willing to change and to take accountability. And all of the people that are here tonight are those type of people. And those are the people that I love seeing in the recovery community. And there's a lot of them.
Outstanding. You look great, by the way. That's some amazing lighting on you there, Ash.
Oh, it's because it's dark, probably.
Come on, Ashley.
Hell no.
I was visiting my friend at the hospital, so.
Yeah, it's funny because I had a friend of mine that just posted something on Facebook, and she was like, "Filter, I've never looked so good," and I laughed my ass off. I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but it really cracked me up. Yeah. Then I said, "You don't need a filter."
Ashley, you always bring this. You always bring the. I don't even want to call it the heat, but you do bring a lot of good wisdom. Like, whenever you speak, and I thought that what you said. I hope that you don't apologize for it, because I thought it was spot on. You're right. It ain't gonna go without us making those decisions, and we do need to accept each other. And I personally have been through a lot of that, where people just could not accept, what was good and right for me in transitioning, on my platform. And I thought it hurt me in the beginning, because I thought, we're all in recovery here. Like, every one of us has been in compromised positions. Like, how can we judge another for their pursuit of the betterment of themselves? But so what you said, it really resonated deeply with me, and I think it was perfectly said.
I can't even imagine what you went through. Like, any kind of like tumultuous, things that we had to go through, fucking adversity we had to face, I feel like is probably pales in comparison to anything you had to go through, Elsie. Like,
it was tough. It was tough, but I felt like authentically, I had to do it. Even when it got to be too much at some point in 2021, and I backed away, but I needed to do that because I needed to do some healing on my own. But yeah, like we got to listen to what Ashley says, man. We got to accept everybody here.
Well, how did we get here? We didn't get here from doing the same thing we did to continue during active addiction. No matter what the pathway was, it's a choice to for wellness, whether you go to 12 steps, whether it's Matt, like you choose to change. So if we stop choosing to change, we fall behind and we don't grow. So growth is a choice.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things I'm most grateful for, is that in my journey, ever since, because I felt like I really connected with Rob, that part of your story where you were saying, you made this commitment to yourself to like learn about self, like building yourself up and stuff. So I'm like, there you go. Development was the word I was looking for. Thanks. But it was like, once I first like got that thirst and hunger, and then I started to feed it, I've just never lost it, like ever. It's if anything gotten stronger, you know what I mean? And
the desire.
And I'm super grateful for that, because I mean, if I would have got bored with it, well, I'm sure shit would turned out a lot different, but it's just continued to grow, and just, because I'm still if anything, I built more self-awareness. So I'm acutely aware of the fact that I still have stuff I need to work on, which means that my work ain't finished, which means that I need to, I'm still thirsty. But
I don't think the thing is too, it never ends, and you never arrive. You never,
right.
I think a lot of it is, I think a lot of it is kind of a parallel to like working out at the gym, but like in terms of personal development, I do think it's different though. I think that like at the gym, you stop working out for a little while, you go right back. And I think that you take kind of steps backwards, but there's also things that we learn too, that we do retain. And, you can be an asshole again for sure. And you can say funky things, but, hopefully saying I'm sorry and making amends and being authentic around people is part of what you do. But yeah, man, I feel the same way. I started to reread Think and Grow Rich, which is like a classic, really, really classic personal development book.
I just restarted it too, bro. Keep talking about
man.
it.
And
awesome.
And I flip through when I read stuff, or when I really, when I read stuff, I'm underlining, and I write notes in, and I think about things, and I relate it to other stuff. And so I opened it up, and it was about, it was a note written in the cover, and it was like way in the middle. It was about relationships. It was sex and romance and love, actually, is what it was, and the power that it is. Like, it's one of the most powerful things ever. And I read through it. Not that it was something I read through. I was like, damn, that's like so good, man. Like, it was so good. So, then it makes me think, oh yeah, man, like, I want to be better like him, and there's notes in there about my wife, or about what I want to be, or yes, I must do such, these kind of things. But it gives you, we are all created for connection and for purpose, and to do service. And the cool thing about when you read is you get to connect with extraordinary people who are very purposeful about putting thoughts for your service onto paper. So you get this connection with people that are dead or whatever, so I love personal. I like, reading and learning, like I said.
Yeah, my recovery journey started with a webinar series by Bob Proctor called The 11 Forgotten Laws of the Universe. And I just went back and restarted that whole series again just this past week. And it's amazing to hear things today that I wasn't ready to hear then, and to see how much different, and it just keeps hitting the same way. The same with Think and Grow Rich. It will always keep hitting, because the work is never finished. You never arrive somewhere, so there's not this hopelessness of never making it, because there's nowhere to really make it. We're constantly evolving. But I think it's amazing to start those things and look back on ourselves.
And people that are in recovery are more prone to, it's a natural extension, like you're sober now. What? Like, why not? Like, I mean, I was explaining to a guy that's my coach, actually. He might even be on. His name's Eric, so shout out to him if he's here. Really cool guy. And I was saying, like, people in recovery, you know, they're way back here at like minus 10 or 20 or 50 or whatever it is. And then they get all the way up to kind of like what I would call a zero, okay, to like neutral, where you got a job and you're employed and you're paying your rent or your mortgage or whatever it is. And, you know, people are like, yeah, you know, Fred's a good guy. Yeah, you know, he's good. You know, he's a good employee, whatnot. But, and then there's the whole rest of the potential of like doing this or starting a business or doing this or getting in shape, like the whole personal development, like how far can I evolve? And so I just think it's a natural, like, instead of just kind of stopping, you know, like it's a natural kind of a thing, like you're already moving, just keep on going, man. Like, you know, once you're sober, like, it's not just I don't think the goal should just be to stay sober. Like, then like do what, you know, and not in a manic way, like, fuck, I'm gonna be rich, I'm gonna be, you know, I just think from like a more like you're surfing kind of a thing.
Or you think of like momentum, right? Like, keep that forward momentum going. And once you come to a complete stop, then it's too easy to rest on your laurels and you know, kind of grow stagnant and complacency and all of that. But if you just keep moving in the right direction, keep the momentum, use the momentum to propel you further, right?
Well, and what you put in, you get out. So if you put information in, you know, you're going to be more knowledgeable to put out into the world. You're going to have these skills you didn't have. And then also who you surround yourself with. If you have the most knowledge in the room, you're going to stay still. But if you continue to improve, if everyone in your circle continues to improve, then you're all improving together. Or if you change your circles to be, you know, where more knowledge or more information or better morals are, then you're going to be better too, because you are who you surround yourself with.
Yes.
Amen, sister. Amen.
Awesome.
Poignant as always.
What's the old adage? You never want to be the smartest person in the room.
Yeah. You're the average of the 5 people you hang around with.
Mm-hmm.
Show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
Woo, here we go. You got it.
Anybody else got any more cliches?
Dude, I'm a veritable treasure trove of the cliche one-liners.
Well, somebody, like, I have a friend who's pregnant, and she was saying, she's like, I have 2 brains now, and I think I'm less smart than I was with 1 brain. And I'm like, well, the more brains you put together, it tends to lower the group IQ. Actually, it's, you know. So I was like, maybe that's the problem. Because I mean, you think people get in a group, it's hard for them to think individually and stuff like that.
Amen. Yeah, they get that group herd mentality. There you go.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Outstanding. I love you guys.
Love you too, bro.
Every single one of you.
I'm glad I got to see all y'all tonight.
I got to see you.
Yeah, super awesome you showed up.
Yeah, do we want to wrap things up?
Sounds good to me.
Unless Rob, anything else on your heart?
No, I'm good, man. I'm just, like I said, I'm real. This is really cool. I haven't had an opportunity to do this very many times. I enjoy it. It's been a real pleasure to get to know you guys, and so yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Well, hey, man, if you'd like to be a guest on the Way Out podcast, go ahead and shoot me an email or a text. Okay. Brett can hook you up with my info, or JR, or whoever.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
Same with Recovery Soul Food, man. I'd love to have you.
Yeah, okay. Hell yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. I like that.
Sweet. You're already booked.
All right, good.
Awesome.
All right, Maestro Brett.
Give it to us, big.
Oh, I'm ready.
See, you start the outro music and then begin the outro. God
yeah, come on, man.
I totally fucked that up last week.
It happens. It happens.
That one time.
All right. Well, to everybody that's watching us tonight on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live, which is pretty much every Thursday. We've had a few nights that we've missed, but for the most part, it's every Thursday night. Jason, you want to tell us a little bit more about your podcast, sir?
Yes, sir. I am the co-host of the Way Out podcast. Me and my partner in crime, Charles Lavore, who is the creator. He started the show, I think, in 2014. We are up to 333 episodes currently. We drop a new episode every week. We share powerful recovery stories, and we unpack sometimes recovery topics to help you find or sustain your recovery. And then you can check out the Way Out playlist. It's exclusively on Spotify, and that is a list of songs that represent recovery to all of our amazing guests on the show. Check it out.
Nice. LC, you want to tell us a little bit about your show?
Yes, I do. Recovery Soul Food is here to bring personal and spiritual development in the recovery and rediscovery space. We are doing segments right now called the Deeper Truth Healing Hour, which is going live every Saturday night here on Recovery Revolution Live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and our YouTube channel, and we're available on iTunes, Spotify, and all those great stuff. So get hooked up. Let's develop.
Hell yeah. And then I also have my own podcast. Everybody on here has a podcast, it feels like. Recovery Survey. It's been coined as Morsels of Recovery. I do little short 30-minute episodes every week. Drop a new one on Wednesdays. So be sure to check that out. And Rob mentioned Donna Spears. I had her on my show a few months back. So if you want to hear more about her story, you can find it on my podcast, Recovery Survey.
And Rob, you have a podcast, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We do. It's recoverytodaypodcast.com. Recovery Today Podcast. But everything hinges around Recovery Today magazine. So that's where anybody should go. I'm kind of laughing a bunch because we have so much content that we're still uploading content. And the main focus of everything is actually the magazine. But everybody should go to recoverytodaymagazine.com. We're free, and you'll dig it. So.
Outstanding.
Thanks.
And JR, you have a book. You want to tell us about that?
Tell us about it.
Tell us about it, JR.
Unmute yourself.
Yeah, you're muted, JR. Amateur. Come on, man. Unmute your mic, JR. I'll unmute it for you. There you go. Oh, it won't let me unmute it. Oh, okay.
The Addiction Manifesto by J.R. Weaver. Multi-award-winning.
Yeah, I need an updated picture with like the 6,000 awards on it.
Yeah, you do.
Love
the book
it.
kicks ass, you guys. It kicks ass.
Yes, it does.
Lots of hope shots in there.
Yeah. Well, thank you to everyone that joined us tonight. Rob, thank you again for coming on, man. It was great talking with you. I was kind of quiet because I was back there mashing all the buttons and stuff, but loved hearing your story, man. It was great.
Thank you.
And we will see you guys again next Thursday night. And remember, guys, progress, not perfection.
Dig it.